Hello, this is Call In Convos. I am Isioma. This is a background sound while you're going about your day, doing chores, working out, catching a break at work, and everything in between. I'm here with honest conversations, those things you've been thinking but feel shy to talk about sometimes. The messy, the beautiful, love, life, laughter, relationship with yourself, relationship with others, healing, and more laughter. After all, healing without fun and joy is just unnecessary hard work. So just stay tuned. Hello, you're listening to Isioma on Calling Convos, and thank you so much for being here in this moment and being a part of this today. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you're here. So thank you. Wow, that was quite repetitive. Anyway, the last time I was here on the last podcast, I talked about consistency and how we can be consistent in our relationship with ourselves and all that. And I mentioned that on the next podcast, I'll be talking about the masculine and the feminine aspect of love. And I just would like to say that self-love in too much, when it's excess, when we have too much self-love, we stand the risk of isolating ourselves. And I'll talk about this later as we go on, because at the end of the day, we live in a universe that is of possibilities and anything is possible. And it's just like the tarot card, temperance, moderation. There has to be moderation. So as I get into this topic today, I'll get to talk about self-love and how we can manage it. We can manage self-love to the point that we are not isolating ourselves. At the end of the day, it's isolation. No, what am I saying? At the end of the day, it's curation, not isolation. And then there's this quote from one writer where she says, people who, oh my God, I can't remember her name. People that went to school. And she's it's in my head, but it's along the lines of, oh my God, like she is in my head. Does that happen to you, that it's like something is in your head but you just can't? Wow. But anywho's how the quote is, people who build walls, I'm paraphrasing her now, people who build walls end up making themselves like you're a prisoner to yourself. So that's like the summary to an extent of what we're talking about today. And I'd mentioned masculine and feminine. So when we talk about self-love, so the discourse is mostly around the feminine aspect, self-care, like the soft self-care, affirmations, radical self-acceptance, bubble baths, wine evening, listening to your favorite music, etc. So while those are necessary, like they are essential, at the end of the day, true love, true self-love is incomplete without the masculine structure. So it's like, there's this joke I have with my sister. So you could be like, oh, I'm having a cheat day. Your cheat day is self-love. Honestly, my cheat day, I don't know about you, but my own cheat day is self-love and the feminine aspect of self-love. So it's like I'm staying in bed past the time I should wake up. So I'm like staying in bed till 8 or 9. Yes, and I don't feel guilty. And that's another thing I'll talk about later on, on a different episode. Rest without feeling guilty. You get? So there are those days, those cheat days, but then you just make sure that that cheat day does not become a cheat life. We don't want to cheat life. Yeah. Okay, let's say you have a diet. I mean, I've been on a diet for more than half of my life. I mean, since I was a teenager, I've been on one diet or the other. And when I say, oh, I've been on one diet or the other, it's more or less like since I was a teenager, like 14, 15, I realized that, oh, I really do, in as much as I'm not allergic to any food, but I have to take care of my body. Like, for real, like as a teenager, I had, and it was, how like it, I don't know, they're just those things you just know. Nobody has to tell you, I guess. So for me, this was one of those things that, okay, I don't desire to fall sick, so I can just like take care of my body, blah blah blah. But then there were moments, sometimes in my 20s, bloody 20s. Oh my god, I was depressed for 7 years of my life. Okay, story for another day. No, for real, like bloody 20s. And in when I was depressed for that long, and I can laugh about it now. Funny enough, I can laugh about it now, and I can look back. But those were really dark days, really dark days, like dark, dark. And there's more to it, but that's not the conversation for that's not what we're talking about today. And in those dark moments, I realized that I wasn't even connecting with myself. So there was no self to love to start with. You get? So back to the convo for today, self-love. And for me, being intentional about my diet, yeah, has always been a thing. But then in those dark years, I wasn't doing that. Yeah. But now that I have gone back to that, to me now, yeah, and I'm no longer abandoning myself, self-abandonment is a sin. Topic for another day. I do have like a routine, a diet and all that. But then I do have a cheat day. I have a cheat day. Usually I eat once a day. Yeah, and I have a day in the week where I just don't eat anything. So I can be like, 36 to 48 hours without, food, just like to get into ketosis, or blah, 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 blah. You get the point, yeah? But in as much as I eat once a day on a regular, there are just those days where I just eat I eat like a thief. I eat like I want to rob a bank. But we're not going to make a cheat day a cheat life, yeah? So I have just said all this just to, express how one of the ways, I go about self-love and, self-care. And one of the ways is how I am intentional about the things I eat, what I put into my body. What I put into my body. No pun intended. Okay. So I said something about, the masculine structure. Yeah. So think of it as, the framework that actually protects, the soft feminine self-care. Yeah. So without it, self-love can easily become passive, negative passive. I mean, because at the end of the day, passivity is not a bad thing at all. Passivity is very good. But when you're talking about manifestation, how you can manifest from a place of rest, but conversation for another day. Oh my God, there are a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, but have it at the back of your mind that passivity is a good thing, that those moments where you feel isolated, you should leverage them. And in those moments, that is when you're very powerful And that is when you can actually create. Because when you think about creation itself, all across all mythologies, all cultures, creation started from darkness. You understand? From the dark mother, from the feminine. Okay, conversation. Oh God, a lot of things to talk about. Anyway, let me not digress. Okay, so we need the masculine structure. And also, when I was talking about consistency, on the previous episode, I was like, you have to show up for yourself, you have to come through for yourself, you have to say things and, be intentional about it. And we have to be intentional about not outsourcing consistency. That, we should not outsource stability, to forces, to, things outside us and all that. Yeah. And based on that, I'm saying that sometimes the highest form of self-love is not a day off, it's not a cheat day. Sometimes the highest form of self-love is holding yourself accountable. Let me say it again. Sometimes the highest form of self-love is holding yourself accountable. So when I talk about the masculine self-love, so this is not about masculinity or gender. No. Nah. It's more, I'm talking about in the... Okay, now I would always mention the occult because, occult means it is hidden, it's not mainstream, it is esoteric. But if everyone had access to it, which everyone should, we won't call it occult. Yeah. And sometimes when you're hanging out with some entities, some spirits, if you're one of those people who work with spirits, the spirit will tell you, I am neither feminine or masculine. I am. And that is why in the Bible, like in the Torah or the Pentateuch, whatever you call the first, that book of Exodus, when Moses approached the burning bush and Moses said, oh, what are you? And the entity said, I am that I am. Like, I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl, I'm not man, I'm not woman. I am. And like I said, if you work with spirits, if you know stuff about divination, if that's your thing, maybe you have met or encountered a spirit that was like, I am not masculine, I am not feminine. And you're like, okay. And you can't even name it. You can't name that energy. Sometimes like the energy doesn't even desire for you to name it. It is, but that's not the issue. So what we're saying today is, when I say masculine or feminine in this convo, I am not talking about what society has defined as masculine or feminine. Yeah, I'm looking at it through the lens of the principles of feminine and masculine. Yeah, and I know most people are used to Judeo-Christianity. So according to Kabbalah, it's how you say the masculine is the will of God and the feminine is the beauty of God. Yeah, that's a whole discussion on its own. Yeah, so just remove your mind from the conventional definition of masculine and feminine. Yeah, so think of it as, just like I said, the structure for the structure where the feminine aspect, the self-love, the affirmations, the self-care, and all that can can happen. Yeah. So self-discipline, number one. Self-discipline as self-respect. And on another episode, I'll talk about self-disrespect. Like, I have a lot to unpack on self-disrespect. Self-discipline as self-respect. Self-respect is one of the ways you can love yourself. So it's more or less like, I respect myself. I honor myself. I honor my commitments to myself. And just like I do tell people, self-discipline is necessary. It's part of self-love. And just like this, what? Oh my days! What is his name? Tracy. Oh, I can't remember, but there's a Tracy in his name. Yeah. So he says that self-discipline is doing what you have to do, even when you don't want to do it. Like, I don't feel like doing this now, but you have to do it. So you're choosing what you want most after and over what you want now. So when you discipline your habits, like, sleep, fitness, boundaries, work, diet, routines, you're telling yourself your future is worth sacrificing temporary comfort for. Now, I just sent a voice note to a close friend of mine, just before I started recording. And I told him that all the things we can see around us right now were things we once desired, like some years back, like maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and now we can see them now. So for every cause, there is an effect. For every effect, there must have been a cause. So what if we imagine ourselves 5 years from now and we look at the things at this version of ourselves. What are they doing? How did they get there? And we start, taking up those habits, those behaviors, those 4 patterns now. Maybe that can help us realize, get to that version of ourselves 5 years from now, So that's that one. The self-discipline is very necessary. Like, you can't even ignore the role of self-discipline when it comes to self-love. Like, you can't. And it's what it is. Like, it's what it is. Okay, let me give you an example. I was up by 3:30. Yeah, I was up by 3:30. Then I started my meditation. So around like 3:35 thereabouts, and then I was done by 4:54. Yeah, and today is the day. I mean, I do have that, one day a week at least. So I just take a walk down to the sea, and do my morning work when I'm not running or jogging. And I left the house by 5:23. For Christ's sake, that's like too early. But then, in springtime, sunrise is like at midnight. But you get my point. Yeah. So it was really bright. And even by the time I got to the sea at about 5:33. It's like 10-minute walk, from my house to the sea. By the time I got to the sea, 5:33, the sun was it was already up. I was like, hey, see what I'm saying? The sun could not even wait for me to come so that it will rise. Watch it rise on the horizon. But then, in the sun's defense, as at the sun, I think sunrise today was about like at 3:40 something. Yeah, you have different. Okay, no, let's not do geography lessons. Anywho's how. Yeah, so did I desire to? I would have loved to stay in bed till 8 o'clock today, but I had to do what I had to do. So that's self-discipline. Commitment to yourself is another thing. Yeah. So some of us are really good. We're great, in fact, at keeping our commitment to, our employers, our friends, our families. But when it comes to the commitment we make to ourselves, we be breaking the promises like clouds breaking into rain. I just made this up right now again. Okay, anywho's that, but you get my point, yeah? So we just break our commitment to ourselves. Yeah, it happens. What am I saying? We're human. And I know that's why some of us have given up on making New Year resolutions, because we don't follow through. The last time I made a New Year resolution, I think I was 10. because I realized that fuck this shit. Like, no, nah, people don't keep it. Like, I knew I wasn't keeping my resolutions. As at 10, and I would, that those things you just know right from a very young age, and nobody needs to tell you. Like, you just know on an intuitive level, you know. So that's that about that. Commitment to oneself is very important. Yeah. And the masculine aspect of self love means that you treat a promise to yourself as a binding contract. You get me? You feel me? You feel me? Okay. Consistency. Well, I talked about that on the previous episode. Yeah. It's a habit, it's a lifestyle, it's a culture. Is consistency should be who you are. But then you're a human being, you're prone to change. Just like Heraclitus said, you don't step into the same water twice. So obviously you're not the same person you were yesterday, because you've had new thoughts, new ideas, new things have entered your life, so there should be a little bit difference, but the difference depends on you get her. So consistency in the way you show up for yourself, consistency as identity building. So excellence is not an act, is a habit. I think it's something Aristotle has said. Oh my God, what these philosophers are just popping into my head today? What's happening? What's going on? What's happening? Funny enough, to digress, I was like thinking that, you had philosophers like Aspasia, Hypatia. Oh, wow, whatever. Like, because sometimes I realize, the funny thing, I read when I was like way younger, like teenage, when I was in uni, and I'll be discussing, philosophy with people. They'll be like, "Oh my God, you think like a guy?" I'm like, "No, I'm thinking like a human being." Who told you philosophy belongs to men? You guys. Anywho, consistency is how you build self-trust. And if anything, I'm thinking about something now. 500 years ago, or let's even say 200 years ago, people will talk about love. I don't know if they were really talking about self-love, because sometimes, we talk about the things desire in partners, consistency, I have to trust them, blah, blah, blah. But what if we have self-consistency, self-trust, self-compromise, like bring it back to the self. But just for another day, yeah? So consistency is necessary, it's important. It's important to self-love. So if you constantly let yourself down, it's very possible that you might not trust yourself enough, because a part of that you're not even reliable, to yourself. So this is something, that it's really, really important. And what happens when you can give yourself these things, when you can be consistent, when you have self-discipline, when you are that person for yourself, it reflects in the things you demand from other people. For me, if I see certain behaviors in a person, sorry, you are not invited to this table. And I talked about on the first episode where I talked about the value, what I bring into the table, and I said you should know the value of your seats. You should know the value of a seat at your table. You should know. And before you can, demand before you can demand of another person, what are you bringing to the table? You need to know the value that you yourself, what you are worth. You need to know your own value. One thing I do tell people, imagine how useless you are that someone cuts you off, someone cuts you out of their lives and they don't feel like anything has left. How useless you must have been, like how absolutely useless, you know. So no, it's what it is. And I said it. I can't be so loving to a point to love something that is useless. I don't do useless. It's better for the plate to be empty than to go to the trash and fill my plate with trash. Yeah? So, and I can say this based on the fact that I know the value, I know how I improve any space that I inhabit. There is no way I will be in someone's life and it's something like I'm really intentional about that. There is no way I'd be in someone's life and not add anything to that person's life. It's either they pick up a new habit, because I'm not saying this to to what's the word now? To hype myself. It is what it is. It's either they pick a new habit, maybe they're reading more, maybe they're more intentional about their diets. God damn it, like I have Virgo on my ascendant. I have Virgo on my ascendant. And I have a Virgo stellium, and I have my Venus in Virgo. You get it. So there's no way I'm entering your life and I'm not improving your life. It's either I'm listening to you, like those friends, you just tell all the dark, sordid, dark things, the dark things people have told me in this life. But I think I might have been a priest in one of my lives, like one of my past lives, like the way I be keeping people's secrets. And even though I no longer talk with them, that in fact, like if you have told me something, even if you don't tell me, oh, this is private, like discretion, that's one thing. Discretion, I knew that, okay. Like what? Why would I be talking about another person's shit to another person now? Yeah? So my point is this. I know the value I bring into the world, and that is why I won't settle for less. And that is why I am a single Pringle. Yeah. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. And the funny thing, talking about romantic relationships, it's not like I'm asking for too much. I'm not. Funny enough. Like I just have 5 things on my checklist. Just 5 things. 5. Emotional intelligence being one of them. Self-discipline being another one. I'll keep the 3 to myself. Come on, you get the point. Yeah. And why I demand self-discipline in a partner is because it's self-disciplined partner. I think I said it on a previous episode. A self-disciplined partner will know that they will be attracted to other people whilst they are with me. They will know that. But because they have chosen me, nobody's going, like, cheating is not in the equation. You get. And that's me too. I have chosen this person, and I am not going to cheat because I'm intentional about that relationship. Like self-discipline, yeah, is what it is. Like the last time I was in a romantic space with anybody actively with my full mind was March 2021. Yeah. And I haven't been celibate all through, but you get my point. Yeah. And because I know that if I'm going to be in a romantic space with a person, this is someone I'm fully choosing with my whole agency. And this is someone that I like, okay, so I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to hurt you deliberately. So that I can be, like I said, I have that. See, let me tell you, when it comes to people with Virgo placement, or especially Venus and Virgo, there is a checklist. There is a checklist, my dear. You have a checklist. If you have a Venus in Virgo or you have a Virgo placement, you have a checklist when it comes to people. And like I said, it's really not hard. And I mentioned 2 things: emotional intelligence, self-discipline. I think I'll just drop another one. Someone who appreciates the arts. The other 2, I'll keep those other 2 to myself. But you get the point. And because I know the things that I can bring So that is why I'm intentional about the things I am demanding. I'm not, and that's the funny side. I won't demand for something if I know that I'm not meeting it. Like, I'm not as, I meet all my standards. Yeah. And just like I said on the previous episode, you can't be asking for a partner that is an Adonis or that is Aphrodite herself when you look like Patrick in SpongeBob. You can't do that. Like, you don't have the moral grounds to do that. You get? So when we love ourselves, when we have this structure to love ourselves, we can, demand for the things we demand. And in doing so, we have a better world for ourselves. If you tolerate your own laziness, you will tolerate a partner's lack of effort. If you lack the discipline to enforce your own boundaries, other people will cross them. You get it? Like me, see, my boundaries, I like to think my boundaries are strong. I like to think, yeah. Someone once told me, I once told the person, I love you. In summary, I love you. So if you're going to call me, please give me heads up. Because knowing me, I will say that if you don't give me heads up, I can see that phone ring and I will not answer that call because I'm not in the headspace to talk with you. And he didn't like it. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can do. And through the years, I have met people who tried to cross my boundaries and I have cut them off. And they were not missed. Because in the real sense, they were not even adding anything. Yeah, they were not adding anything and they had to go. Yeah, and I think personally, sometime this year and sometime this month and last month, it's like I did this overhaul, this violent, vicious auditing. So I got to that point sometime last month and early part of this month where I was like, anything that doesn't serve my purpose is going to go. Anything that's not adding value to my life is going to go. And for me, after I did that, it felt so peaceful. And I think that was actually one of the things that inspired the first episode that I did, the first recording that I did. And yeah, it's what it is. If it's not adding value to my life, it's gonna go. You get? And I can do this based on based from the fact that I love myself. So you can imagine all the things that self-love can do for you. You get? So the thing is this. So when you build a strong discipline kingdom, let me say kingdom, when you run a strong government, so you naturally become incompatible with chaos. You become incompatible with disrespect. You become incompatible with low effort people. Your self-discipline will set the baseline, to set the tone for how people must treat you so that you can stay in their life. And this is because you love yourself. You have that self-discipline. Self-discipline will make you let me tell you, when you're self-disciplined, when you get to that point of self-love, somebody can breathe in the wrong way. What did they do? They just breathe in the wrong way, and you're like, bang, like you cut them off. Like your name becomes Blockiana, Blockisha. Like you just block. I was talking to a close friend of mine, and he was like, this guy is not well. And he was like, hey, the way you all are cutting people off, please, don't cut me off. Oh, shout out to Quadri. That guy is a fish. And funny enough, he's one of my oldest, like one of my longest friends. Yeah, very amazing human beings. Just like, but I do tell him we're in a long distance relationship. So he's in Japan, I'm in England, and it is what it is. But I love him. Yeah, because and that conversation I had with him, what happened was that we were talking about self, emotional intelligence. And I was like, oh, like even for me, like because I've come to this place where I really do love myself. So when I see something that's rubbing me off the wrong way, it's so easy for me to cut it off. And then that's why he said what he said. Yeah. But then caveat, keeping it balanced. And when I said earlier, you know, we are looking at curation, not isolation. Yeah. You can get there's a way you can love yourself to the point that you become an island. You don't want to be an island. When you get hyper focused on self-discipline, boundaries, protecting your peace, it's so easy, to build walls instead of boundaries. And that thing I said about I still can't. Is it also Lali? Is it also Lali Green? Oh, okay. Like I said, the name is in my head. It's in my head, and we have that. We stand. There's that risk. Yeah. So self love shouldn't make you a fortress where no one can get in. Yeah. And then true strength does not mean you don't need anyone. Yeah. So it means that you're secure enough in yourself to allow healthy interdependence. You get, because the way we isolate ourselves under the guise of, oh, I'm protecting my peace, working on yourself. No, it can't just be another sophisticated way to avoid, vulnerability, that any relationship that is in that, any close relationship requires. Yeah. Now, strict intentionality, in all our connections, in all our relationships, be it platonic, romantic, professional, familial, So it's very important. Yeah. And just like I said, it's just, okay, let's say, how will I put it? Curation, not isolation. So you don't want to close your doors to the world. You just want to be a very strict bouncer with a lot of muscle. We want to see your muzzle. We want to see your akpo B. We want to see your chests. Those bouncers, with their thick muzzle. That is the kind of bouncer you want to be. You don't want to close the door. Yeah. So in platonic spaces, you're asking yourself, are your friendships intentional? Or are you friends with this person based on history and proximity? Many people are standing on this table. Are you friends with that person because of history and proximity? Ask yourself. Are they adding any value to your life? Are you adding any value to their life? Think about it. Every relationship is an investment. Invest wisely. We do not invest in liabilities in this house. You understand? You feel me? Okay. Do they sharpen you? Do they improve you, or do they drain you? Do you improve them, or do you drain them? Sometimes this joke. Sometimes you're setting your house, or you're burning incense, and then you pass out. What happens is that you are the demon. So look inside your heart. You heard it here. Then in romantic spaces, move away from vibes and the chemistry. Intentional romance looks at alignment, your values. How does this person match the structure of the life you have built for yourself and the life that you are envisioning for yourself? One thing they don't tell you, your partner is the only family member you can choose in this life. Choose wisely. Let me say it again. Your partner is the only family member you can choose in this life. Choose wisely. You don't choose your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sisters, your uncles, your nephews. But you can choose your partner. Choose wisely. How do they navigate finances? How do they navigate abundance? How do they navigate spirituality? What is their diet? How, my dear, how it will be the way it's going for those of us that desire to have children. It is going to affect the way we raise our children. So be very intentional about who you're picking. You get me? You feel me? You feel me? Then professional, I mean, that is another talk. When it comes to professional relationships, they're very intentional. It's not, they are not your friends, they're your allies. Tread lightly. You get. So the takeaway is this: being intentional means that you stop letting people fall into your life by accident. Every relationship should have a mutually understood purpose and a shared level of respect. You get. So be intentional with your relationships. And you can only get to this point when you understand, when you embody, when you integrate the masculine aspect of self-love. I mean, everyone is used to like the feminine, okay, self-care day, take yourself to a spa, bubble bath, candlelight dinner with yourself, bed till 8 or 9 or whenever. Yes, we're all used to that. But the important aspect of self-love, and this aspect is as important as the feminine, is the masculine. For something to be whole, it has to embrace the masculine and the feminine. So just like I said earlier, the masculine is the structure. And that structure is where it kind of like is that space, where you can, where the feminine aspects of self-love, can operate and all that. And I mentioned self-respect, consistency, commitment, to oneself, self-discipline, all very, very, very important. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, hanging out. And I really do appreciate it. And that is all for today's episode. And the next episode, I will be talking about avoidance. People who are avoidant. Okay, now just to start it off, sometimes the person is not avoidant, they just don't like you, and live with it. Let's just start with that. I know it could be quite triggering. It could be, but it is what it is. You are not everyone's cup of tea, and everyone cannot be your cup of tea. It is what it is. Yeah, but topic for another day. And it's always lovely, being here to, talk about stuff. And the link to the website is in the description, so you can always reach out, call in, and we're here for anything pertaining to emotional support. You can just talk and vent, and we are here for you. Okay, insights, ideas, you just want to talk about anything that's bothering you, we are here. We don't judge. It's confidential and it's a safe space. And until next time, I remain Isioma, and I am signing out now.